the purpose of an opening statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Secretary Yellen, welcome back to the committee. It is good to have you here. As you know, I have tremendous respect for you and the Treasury Department. As you know, I strongly disagree with the failed economic policies of this administration. President Biden clearly bungled the economic recovery, and as a result, working families and Main Street businesses are paying a steep price. Americans are being hammered with the shrinking economy, shrinking paychecks, slower job growth, and record pessimism about the future. A new report shows 83% of Americans rate President Biden's economic leadership as poor. Taking office armed with every economic advantage, President Biden has posted a terrible record. He's missed expectations in 4 of his 5 quarterly economic reports. And last quarter, the economy actually shrank. He's fallen short in half the monthly jobs reports, creating a mere 8.6 million jobs. President Trump, by contrast, created 12.5 million jobs during the months after the pandemic, averaging 1.4 million jobs a month, even without life-saving vaccines and a nearly nationwide lockdown. President Biden has never come close. Due to the administration's dismissal and subsequent denial of inflation and the worker crisis, plus massive deficit spending that fueled 40-year high inflation, American families and Main Street businesses are suffering from higher prices on nearly everything. Make no mistake, the administration should have known. Inflation doubled in just 2 months before the American Rescue Plan, way over the 2% rate the Federal Reserve targets. Yet this administration, and you, as one of its most respected cabinet secretaries, repeatedly urged Congress to act now, act big, and assured America, in your words, I don't believe the American Rescue Plan will be inflationary. You couldn't have been more wrong. And now we face a looming economic recession and high inflation for perhaps years. And as a result, life is brutally harder for families and small businesses. Month after month, prices outpace paychecks, slashing real wages by over 3%, costing the typical family an extra $5,000 this year. Experts predict we'll hit $6 a gallon by August, with average families spending an extra $2,000 on gas alone. It's no wonder 3 in 4 Americans believe we'll be in a recession within the year. And it's not just workers and families who've lost faith in the president's competence. Double-digit inflation is hitting small businesses and has for months. Most small businesses say they've been forced to pass higher costs on to their consumers. And more than 60% of them fear that Bidenflation will drive them out of business entirely. But these aren't the only crises. For the past year, Treasury has ignored the tax refund crisis, with an unconscionable total of 26 million returns backlogged at the IRS. Americans hit hard with inflation can't even get their own refunds back to help keep their family budgets afloat. Money's not the problem. Congress gave the IRS over $1.8 billion in emergency funding. Instead of using it to work off the backlog, Treasury instead focused on pushing a dangerous bank surveillance scheme that would target the privacy of families, small businesses, and farmers, and funding to unleash 80,000 new IRS agents on American taxpayers, including low and moderate income families. While other nations are lowering their business taxes to fight inflation, President Biden is proposing $4 trillion in crippling tax hikes on Main Street businesses and their workers that will drive prices even higher, along with tax hikes on American investors that will rob crucial funding for investment to address the crippling supply chain crisis. It's an economic surrender, both here at home and with our foreign competitors. So, too, is the current OECD agreement on global minimum taxes and digital services taxes. Congress will not ratify an agreement that makes America less competitive, surrenders precious U.S. tax revenues to foreign governments by allowing them to target American businesses, or turns the sovereignty over the U.S. tax code from Congress to the OECD and foreign accounting associations. But that is exactly what the current agreement does. Today also marks 1 year since ProPublica first published illegally disclosed taxpayer information. They're using the data for a politically motivated agenda and claim to have a vast trove of years and years of confidential taxpayer information. Yet neither Congress nor the public has gotten any answers from Treasury on how this private data was leaked. To date, neither Treasury nor Justice has even confirmed they've acquired the data that was stolen. If you don't know what was stolen, how can you conduct a credible investigation? We have been patient, but when are we going to get some answers? Treasury has found time, though, to launch a frivolous and politically motivated investigation against Texas for its legitimate use of COVID relief dollars to address the health and humanitarian impacts of the dangerous open borders policy, including overcrowding of federal detention shelters, dangerous COVID-19 health conditions, keeping frontline health workers safe, curbing sex and drug trafficking, including record-high fentanyl smuggling, and preventing migrant deaths. Sadly, 700 migrants have died on American soil under President Biden, the highest on record. The bottom line is working Americans are hurt hardest by these crippling crises. The question is, when are they going to see relief? Mr. Chairman.